Welcome to the series where I test out the OSRS Wiki money making guides. I started this series almost a year ago, and since then we've tried out multiple methods even if they're a little silly, such as picking bananas or even flax. If you enjoy these types of videos, then feel free to check out the playlist that I've made for them, and feel free to leave a suggestion down in the comments for a method that you'd like to see tested. With that being said, let's get into the video. So for today's video, we'll be taking a look at making unfinished Kwuarm potions. Now, the reason why this is a good moneymaker is because most of the time people don't bother with putting the herbs into the vials of water. Most of the time, if they just want to train Herblore XP, they'll buy the unfinished version and of course the secondary. So this means that at the cost of not getting any XP, you can make some pretty decent money here. Now the requirements for this moneymaker is to have at least 55 Herblore and of course a cash stack to buy the ingredients. Now as for the gear setup, you don't need anything specific for this, so just wear your best fashionscape or wear nothing at all. It's your life. Now as for the bank setup, since some people do ask about these settings that I use during these videos, I have the quantity option selected on the X and I make sure that the amount is 14. When you activate this, you can just left click each item and it withdraws 14 of each item. I'm also using the bank fillers option in the bank just so I can move the items closer to the deposit inventory button. And again, this just speeds up banking by a little bit, but if you plan to do this for a long time, all of that little time you save while opening up the bank does add up over time. Now moving on to some plugins that I do use the camera plugin in Runescape to expand the inner zoom limit, and that just lets me get closer to the bank chest as you can see here, because I do like setting up a screen marker for the deposit inventory button. When I set up a screen marker for the deposit inventory button, I can just position the chest to where I only have to click once on it, and then I can click once again to deposit everything. And again, this just helps with banking. Now as for the method, it is very straightforward. All you're doing is clicking on the vial of water and then clicking on the herb in your inventory, and then you can click in the interface that pops up to make all of them. Now after you do it one time, you can just use the spacebar shortcut to continue making all of the potions instead of having to click the picture in the inventory, or actually in the chat box. Now if you do happen to have an Herblore cape at 99 Herblore, then you can actually make a little bit more money if you choose to use the grimy version of the herb, because the cape does give you the ability to use grimy herbs instead of having to clean them, so you do make a little bit of extra money. But even if you don't have them and you want to make some extra money, you can also buy the grimy herbs and clean them yourself, which will give you a little bit of Herblore XP as well. And that is pretty much it for the moneymaker. It is very straightforward and very easy. You could probably also play another account while you make money on the side, just making unfinished potions, because it's a very low effort and it really doesn't take too much concentration to do this. Once you get in the zone, you can pretty much do it without even thinking. And if you have higher Herblore levels, you might want to consider checking out the OSRS Wiki to see if there's other unfinished potions that you can make that can make you even more money. I know I've done a couple of videos in the past on certain potions, so if you're interested in those, feel free to check out the OSRS Wiki money making playlist, and they should be in there, along with a lot of other videos that we've done over the past year. I do believe we are over 100 videos in there, so that's a pretty nice milestone. And after an hour of making these Kwuarm potions, we did manage to make a total of 4,129, giving us a grand total of 7.2 mil GP. We can now go ahead and head over to the Grand Exchange to sell off all of our loot. Now I did do a price check on this to see what the margins were like, and I decided to put them in there for 1926. I believe the higher end was like 1930, but I did decide to go for the lower amount just to sell them off more quickly. And it only took about 30 minutes for all of them to sell, so if you're more patient, feel free to put them in there for a little bit higher to make some extra money. We can now go ahead and calculate the total profit we made from this 1 hour of making these potions. So if we take into account the cost of supplies, which was 7,300,072 GP, subtract that from the money we made, which was 7,952,454 GP, we get a grand total profit of 652,382 GP. I gotta say, I was surprised to see that we made this amount of money. I'm pretty sure it was more than what the wiki stated, but I think we just got lucky on the prices right now. And that brings me to my next point. Always price check before trying these money makers, because something that worked a month ago, a day ago, a week ago might not work today. So always be safe. I just want to say thanks for checking out the video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a thumbs up and maybe even a subscription. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next episode.